Here's a quick introduction to the Role Practice platform. Where we're at right now is actually the dashboard. So this is the main landing screen when you log into the Role Practice application. On the dashboard, you'll see a few stats here. Down below, there's additional stats based on the user. Now, currently, I'm logged in as a manager, so I'm going to have some additional visibility into the team beyond just myself. Some of the things that we do as a part of the role practice environment, we do show you stats, which you can turn certain things on and off. We also do like to show badges to encourage usage. And if you want, we could even turn things on from a team environment. If you want to set up weekly or monthly competitions in the platform, that can also be done too. Sometimes a competitive nature in us sometimes helps make it a little more fun. You can also see your score progression over time. This gives you some visibility into how you're doing. Naturally, there can be some ups and downs, and we do give you some insight into some of the trends that you're doing really well at skill wise, and also some of the areas that need some improvement. And you'll see those stats here down below. Going up to the top now, as far as the setup goes of the platform, one of the things that we do during the onboarding is we actually take you through an interview process. So you actually go in, you put your company information in, you'll put in your company domain, and it actually launches into a voice interview. And so in this particular demo environment here, that's already been done. But a part of this process, we'll scan your website. We'll try to understand more about the customers that you work with, the products and services that you offer, and start to build a customized profile for your business. And this will help frame up how the calls between you and your potential buyers will be done inside the system. Now, all the stuff that you do during the settings can be adjusted later on. So you can always go in, make tweaks, make adjustments to the company settings at any point. One valuable feature too is we do allow you to also create your own organization's knowledge base. And part of the onboarding, when we go through that voice interview, we'll ask you for some of those details. Those could be things like sales playbooks, any training information you've done before, terminology. If your company is heavily based on selling products, you can also upload things like product spec sheets, anything that you want your team to be able to practice and also track technical knowledge against. So basically, are we communicating value, and are we also saying things that are technically right about the products and services that we offer? So basically, you can make the system smart. This isn't just generic AI sales practice, it is custom built and custom adjustable to your organization. Now, there's some other settings in here too, which we won't get into just yet. But nice thing is all of this can be done. And if you are using any of the common sales methodologies out there, we do allow you to turn those on and off if you want to have your scoring based on that framework. So let's go dive into actually jumping into the main attraction here and starting a call. So we'll go up here to start a call. And this is the call setup screen. And some of this information can be adjusted. Now, during the onboarding interview that we do inside the platform, we're going to set up your roles. And one of the things that you can do is based on what your role is, if you're a daily user and you're an account executive, you don't necessarily have to go click account executive every time. It'll remember your last selection for your account. One thing too that I didn't mention earlier, there's just a little minor thing, but from a usability standpoint, if you like dark mode, we do offer dark and light mode. So this can totally be set up and adjusted based on your preferences here for using it. Now, your buyer industries, this is also set up during the onboarding process. And of course, this can all be changed in the settings later on. You can also choose your buyer role. So this is going to be the role of the person that you're going to be speaking to. So we'll say here is the VP of IT. We can choose the practice scenario, and this also is set up during the onboarding process, but you can go back and add additional scenarios at any point if you want to start practicing scenarios that maybe you haven't thought about, or a scenario you ran into recently that you're like, I don't think I did too great on that. May want to go back and try that again. So these can be set up and adjusted over time. Let's do a first discovery call. Now, if you are using one of the coaching frameworks, you can select one of those. If not, you can turn it off. There is going to be a scorecard regardless. So keep in mind, there is a proprietary scorecard system that is inside of Role Practice built in, but the coaching frameworks will just give you some additional insights if you are using those within your organization. Now you can also set generation of the buyer you're speaking to. By default, this is going to be set to any or random. So it'll just randomly pick a particular buyer persona. Let's say if you're a younger person and you're having issues, having sales conversations with people that are older than you, or vice versa, if you're older generation but speaking to a younger crowd, and you're struggling with that, the nice thing about this is you can go in and dial in the specific generation that you're speaking to. And this can actually help you fine tune some of the terminology and verbiage and things too. We'll give you some help and insights there if you feel like you're struggling with that. We can also set our call length here. And this just shows you a quick preview of the call that we're about to start. Now, for those that are super technical and like to get really deep and advanced on this, there is a fine tune option. And for anybody that's used to the disc profiles, if you know that you're struggle with a particular personality type, you can come over here and play with the settings to get this dialed in to the person you want to speak to. This over here automatically ramps up and down, but you can always override these if you want. And if you want to practice some specific objections, you feel like, pricing you've got down, but you struggle with getting timing or, understanding, things like that as an objection, timing or bandwidth. Once again, turn these on and off as you need to, and those will come up in your practice conversation. Keep in mind, this is completely optional. This is just an advanced setting, but we do allow you to really dial this in, especially if you turn into an advanced user and use this regularly and want more of a challenge, you can do that. So let's go ahead and hit start call here.
Hello, this is Sarah.
Hey, Sarah, this is Jeff at Crestline. How are you?
Hey, Jeff. I'm good, thanks. Super busy day, though. What's this about?
Yeah, Sarah. So sorry to bother you. Just following up, you had reached out to us on our website yesterday requesting for some more information. Just wanted to see if you had a few minutes to chat.
Oh, right, yeah. I did poke around your site yesterday. Sure, I've got a few minutes. What's on your mind?
Yeah, absolutely. So first off, just curious, what prompted you to reach out to us?
We're looking at ways to streamline our data integrations. Our current setup's getting clunky with all the legacy systems we have. What does Cloud Sync Pro bring to the table that's different?
And so one thing that we can do here is also turn on the role coach feature, which if you're struggling or want some additional insights, we can do this here as we go through. Sorry, Sarah, that was a little aside. I was talking to somebody else.
No worries, happens to the best of us. You were saying about Cloud Sync Pro?
Yeah, absolutely. So before I dive into our product, can you tell me a little bit more about the current challenges that you're running into?
Our ETL processes are slow, especially syncing data from our on prem databases to the cloud apps. It's causing delays in reporting, and my team's spending too much time on manual fixes. That sound like something you handle?
Yes, absolutely. We can certainly handle that.
Okay, but how exactly? We've tried a couple tools before that promised the world but couldn't integrate cleanly with our legacy stuff without a ton of custom work.
Absolutely. So, what are some of the tools you've tried before?
We've got an incumbent ETL vendor that's been okay but outdated, and we looked at a managed data pipeline tool last year that was too rigid for our setup. Neither really nailed the real time piece without breaking the bank on consultants.
Gotcha. Well, good thing about Cloud Sync Pro is we uniquely combine the ETL, real-time analytics, and data governance. Sorry, ensuring seamless integration, particularly with legacy systems like yours. So, I don't think that will be an issue at all.
That sounds promising. Seamless with legacy is huge for us.
So we'll go ahead and end that call there. And what I'm going to do is just jump over to the scorecard area to show you what this looks like. So this is one of the users here in the platform. And you can see here that Marcus scored on his call 76 out of 100. Now, when it comes to this breakdown, depending on if you are using one of the sales methodologies, it'll show you some framework stuff here on how you did on that. Now, down below, this is the scoring that's built into role practice, regardless if you're using one of those sales methodologies or frameworks. And you can see how we arrive to that total score based on that. You can also click on Hear Your Coaching. This just gives you a quick verbal summary of what we see here on the screen. So if you're driving, things like that. We also have a hands-free mode too that's under development for that side of things. And this also just gives you some additional coaching things that we've talked about, some strengths, some things you did well, some opportunities for coaching. Shows you a breakdown of some of the objections that you overcame, maybe any opportunities that you've missed. If you do have any knowledge-based information set up, it'll also show you technically if you were accurate, and then also generational awareness as well. Once again, show you if there's anything off or any suggestions there based on that. And this scorecard, once again, can be laid out differently if we want as a part of the setup. But this is basically the core of what role practice does. So this does give you a way to repeatedly try and do different call scenarios and actually get a an objective scoring system based off of this. The traditional role play scenario is getting yourself, another colleague, maybe a manager, and doing those sessions together, which it's hard to get everyone together for 30 minutes or an hour to do it. Also, the scoring is going to be off depending on who's doing the judging. So this does give you some consistency. And what I really like about it too, I can do this in private. I don't have to do this in front of other people. I can practice at 10 o'clock at night or at 6 a.m. in the morning when I'm having a cup of coffee. This allows me to get some extra reps in. And no matter how experienced you are as a salesperson, there's always room for improvement and refinement. So this will give you some really good insights, give you some feedback, and help you build your sales skills. Hopefully this is helpful. If you have any questions, feel free to reach out. Thank you.